The day started like any other on Earth. People went about their daily lives, unaware that everything was about to change. In the deep reaches of space, something was moving towards our planet. Something big. It was a young astronomer named Sarah who first spotted the strange objects. She was working late at night, looking through her powerful telescope. At first, she thought her eyes were playing tricks on her, but as she looked closer, her heart began to race. "This can't be right," Sarah whispered to herself. She quickly called her boss, Dr. Johnson. "You need to see this now," she said, her voice shaking. Within hours, observatories all around the world confirmed Sarah's discovery. A massive fleet of ships was entering our solar system. They were unlike anything humans had ever seen before. The news spread like wildfire. Social media exploded with posts and videos. TV channels interrupted their regular programs to report on the developing situation. People everywhere stopped what they were doing to look up at the sky, even though the ships were still too far away to see with the naked eye. World leaders scrambled to respond. The United Nations called an emergency meeting. Military forces around the globe were put on high alert. Scientists worked around the clock to gather more information about the approaching fleet. As the ships got closer, fear gripped the planet. Some people panicked and rushed to stock up on supplies. Others held on to hope that the visitors might be friendly. Religious groups saw it as a sign of the end times. Conspiracy theorists claimed it was all a government hoax. In Washington, D.C., the President of the United States sat in the Oval Office, surrounded by her top advisors. The atmosphere was tense as they discussed their options. "What do we know about their capabilities?" the President asked. The Secretary of Defense cleared his throat. "Based on their technology, they're far more advanced than us. Our weapons might be useless against them." Just then, a young communications officer burst into the room. "Madam President, we're receiving a transmission from the alien fleet." All eyes turned to the large screen on the wall. Static filled the air, then cleared to reveal a message. It was in an alien language, but computers quickly translated it. "The Galactic Council has arrived." The room fell silent. Those 5 words carried so much weight, so many questions. Who was this Galactic Council? What did they want? Were they here as friends or enemies? As governments around the world received the same message, a sense of dread settled over humanity. The existence of a Galactic Council implied that there were many alien races out there, united in some form of interstellar government. And now, for some reason, they had come to Earth. Over the next few days, the alien fleet positioned itself in orbit around Earth. Their ships were massive, dwarfing even the largest human space stations. People watched the skies in a mixture of awe and fear, wondering what would happen next. Scientists tried to communicate with the aliens, sending messages of peace and welcome. But the Galactic Council remained silent. Their ships just hung there, a constant reminder of how small and vulnerable Earth really was. As the days stretched on, the initial panic began to subside, replaced by a tense waiting game. People tried to go about their lives, but nothing felt normal anymore. Every conversation, every news report, every moment was overshadowed by the presence of the alien fleet above. World leaders debated endlessly about what to do. Should they attempt to strike first, try to negotiate, or simply wait and see what the Galactic Council wanted? Little did they know, hidden deep beneath the Earth's surface, a secret was waiting to be unveiled, a secret that would change everything. For in the face of this unprecedented threat, humanity was about to reveal its own surprise, one that would shake the very foundations of the galaxy. As the world held its breath, waiting for the Galactic Council's next move, the stage was set for an encounter that would determine the fate of humanity. The arrival of the alien fleet was just the beginning. The real challenge was yet to come. A week had passed since the Galactic Council's fleet arrived. The world was on edge, waiting for something to happen. Then, without warning, it did. Huge screens appeared in the skies above every major city on Earth. They flickered to life, showing the face of an alien creature. It had blue skin, large black eyes, and no visible mouth. When it spoke, its thoughts seemed to echo directly in everyone's minds. "People of Earth," the alien began, "we are the Galactic Council. We have come to deliver an ultimatum." All around the world, people stopped what they were doing. They stared at the sky, listening with a mix of fear and curiosity. "Your species has reached a critical point in its development," the alien continued. "You stand on the brink of unlocking the secrets of faster-than-light travel. This makes you a potential threat to galactic peace." Murmurs of confusion and anger spread through the crowds watching. How could they be a threat when they hadn't even left their own solar system yet? The alien's message went on. "You have two choices: submit to the rule of the Galactic Council or face extinction. If you submit, we will guide your development and ensure you do not become a danger to others. If you refuse, we will have no choice but to eliminate your species for the greater good of the galaxy." The alien paused, letting the weight of its words sink in. "You have 24 hours to decide. Choose wisely." With that, the screens vanished. The world erupted into chaos. In Washington, D.C., the president called an emergency meeting with world leaders. They gathered in a secure underground bunker, connected by video screens. "This is unprecedented," the president said, her face grim. "We need to make a decision that will affect the entire human race." The Prime Minister of India spoke up. "How can we even consider submitting? We would lose our freedom, our identity." "But if we refuse, they'll destroy us all," argued the President of China. "We've seen their technology. We don't stand a chance against them in a fight." As the debate raged on, a young military officer named Jack stood quietly in the corner. He had been chosen to represent the armed forces in this meeting. As he listened to the leaders argue, an idea began to form in his mind. "Excuse me," he said, stepping forward. All eyes turned to him. There might be another option. Jack took a deep breath. "What if we could show them that we're not a threat, but that we're also not willing to submit? What if we could prove that humanity is worth preserving as we are?" The room fell silent as they considered his words. "And how do you propose we do that, young man?" asked the British Prime Minister. Jack looked around the room, his eyes blazing with determination. "By waking the sleepers." Gasps and murmurs filled the room. The sleepers were supposed to be a closely guarded secret, known only to a few top officials. "The sleepers?" the president asked, her voice low. "Are you sure?" Jack nodded. "They were created for a moment like this, a moment when humanity needed its best defenders." For those who didn't know, the president explained, the sleepers were a group of genetically enhanced super soldiers created in secret years ago. They had been put into cryosleep, waiting for a time when Earth faced its greatest threat. "If we wake them," Jack continued, "they might be able to find a way to communicate with the Galactic Council, to show them that we're not a threat, but that we're also not pushovers." The world leaders debated furiously. Time was running out. Finally, as the 24-hour deadline approached, they reached a decision. The president stood up, her face resolute. "We will not submit," she announced. "But we will not go quietly into the night either. We're going to wake the sleepers." As the meeting ended, Jack was tasked with overseeing the awakening process. He raced to a hidden facility deep in the Rocky Mountains, where the sleepers had been kept for years. As he entered the cryosleep chamber, Jack looked at the rows of pods containing Earth's secret protectors. He took a deep breath and pressed the button to start the awakening process. Lights began to flash. Machines hummed to life. In their pods, the sleepers started to stir. The fate of humanity now rested in their enhanced hands. The clock was ticking, and the Galactic Council was waiting for an answer. But little did they know, humanity was about to reveal its ace in the hole. The game was about to change. Deep in the secret facility hidden within the Rocky Mountains, Jack stood before the cryopods. His heart raced as he watched the awakening process begin. Lights flashed, and a low hum filled the air. Inside each pod, a sleeper stirred. There were 50 of them in total. Men and women chosen years ago for their exceptional skills and then enhanced beyond normal human limits. They had volunteered for this program, knowing they might one day be called upon to save humanity. That day had come. The first pod hissed open. A woman sat up, her eyes snapping open. She looked around, alert despite having been asleep for years. "Status report," she demanded, her voice hoarse from disuse. Jack stepped forward. "I'm Lieutenant Jack Cooper. The year is 2045, and Earth is facing an alien threat. We need your help." The woman nodded, processing the information quickly. "I'm Sarah Connor, leader of the Sleepers. Wake the others. We have work to do." Over the next hour, all 50 sleepers were awakened. They gathered in a large briefing room, their enhanced minds quickly absorbing the situation as Jack explained. "So this Galactic Council wants us to submit or die," a tall, muscular man named Marcus summarized. "And we have less than 12 hours left to respond." Jack nodded. "That's right. The world's leaders are hoping you can find a way to communicate with the aliens, to show them we're not a threat, but that we won't just roll over either." Sarah, the Sleepers' leader, stood up. "We were created to protect humanity. That's exactly what we're going to do." But as the Sleepers began to plan, they faced an unexpected challenge. Their bodies, dormant for so long, needed time to adjust. Some of them stumbled as they tried to walk. Others found their enhanced strength hard to control, crushing objects they tried to pick up. Dr. Emily Chen, the lead scientist who had overseen the sleeper program, rushed into the room. "We need to run some tests," she insisted. "Their bodies need time to recalibrate." Sarah frowned. "We don't have time, Doctor. The fate of humanity is at stake." Dr. Chen stood her ground. "If you try to face the aliens like this, you'll fail. Give me 2 hours. I can help you adjust faster." Reluctantly, Sarah agreed. The sleepers were put through a series of rapid exercises and tests. They pushed their bodies to the limit, relearning how to control their enhanced abilities. Marcus lifted a car with ease, while another sleeper named Zura ran faster than any Olympic sprinter. A quiet man called Theo demonstrated incredible mental abilities, solving complex equations in seconds. As they trained, Jack received updates from around the world. The alien ships remained in orbit, silent and waiting. Humanity held its breath, pinning its hopes on the sleepers. Finally, with just 4 hours left until the deadline, Dr. Chen gave her approval. "They're as ready as they can be," she told Jack. Sarah gathered her team. "All right, sleepers, this is what we were made for. Our mission is to protect humanity, to show these aliens that we're not to be trifled with. But we also need to prove we're not a threat to galactic peace." She looked at each of her fellow sleepers. "Some of you will come with me to attempt communication with the Galactic Council. The rest will prepare our defenses, just in case. We hope for peace, but we prepare for war." As the sleepers moved out, Jack couldn't help but feel a mix of hope and fear. These enhanced humans were impressive, but would they be enough against an advanced alien civilization? Outside the facility, transport vehicles waited to take the sleepers to key locations around the world. As they boarded, Sarah turned to Jack. "Lieutenant Cooper," she said, her enhanced eyes seeming to look right through him. "Humanity has placed its trust in us. We won't let you down." With that, the vehicles sped off into the night. The sleepers were officially awake and on the move. The next few hours would determine the fate of the entire human race. As dawn broke over the Rocky Mountains, humanity's last hope scattered across the globe, ready to face the greatest challenge in Earth's history. The Galactic Council had come for humans, but they were about to discover that humanity had some surprises of its own. The stage was set for a confrontation that would echo across the stars. As the sun rose over the horizon, the sleepers sprang into action across the globe. Sarah Connor, their leader, stood atop the United Nations building in New York City, Her enhanced eyes scanned the sky, searching for any sign of the alien ships. Team Alpha, report. She spoke into her communication device. Alpha here, Marcus's voice crackled through. We're in position at the Great Wall of China. No alien activity yet. Team Beta, status. Sarah continued. Beta ready, Zara responded from her position at the pyramids of Giza. The area is secure. One by one, the teams checked in. The sleepers had positioned themselves at key locations around the world, ready to defend humanity or make contact with the aliens. Meanwhile, in Washington, D.C., Theo worked furiously with a team of the world's best scientists and linguists. His enhanced mind processed information at an incredible speed, trying to decipher the alien language and find a way to communicate. I think I got something, Theo muttered, his fingers flying over a keyboard. It's not just a language, it's a complex mathematical code. The lead linguist looked over his shoulder, eyes wide. In just a few hours, you've done what would have taken us years. Theo didn't respond, his focus entirely on cracking the code. Back in New York, Sarah's communicator buzzed. It was Jack. The alien ships are moving, he reported, his voice tense. They're descending into the atmosphere. Sarah's enhanced muscles tensed, ready for action. All teams, be ready, she commanded. Remember your training. We're humanity's last hope. Around the world, the sleepers watched as massive alien ships broke through the clouds. Each ship was the size of a small city, dwarfing everything around it. In Egypt, Zara crouched atop the Great Pyramid, her enhanced vision allowing her to see every detail of the ship hovering above Cairo. It's incredible, she whispered. At the Great Wall, Marcus stood his ground as a ship approached. Wind whipped around him, but his enhanced strength kept him steady. Let's hope they're here to talk, he said to his team. Suddenly, beams of light shot down from each ship. Where they touched the ground, alien figures appeared. They were tall, with blue skin and large, dark eyes, just like the one that had delivered the ultimatum. In New York, 3 aliens materialized in front of Sarah. She stood tall, facing them without fear. I am Sarah Connor, she announced, her voice clear and strong. I speak for humanity. The aliens tilted their heads, studying her. When they spoke, their thoughts echoed in her mind. You are different, they said. Not like the others. Sarah nodded. We are humanity's protectors. We've come to show you that we are not a threat, but we will defend ourselves if necessary. The aliens conferred among themselves, their thoughts a jumble that even Sarah's enhanced mind couldn't decipher. At that moment, Sarah's communicator crackled to life. It was Theo. Sarah, I've cracked it, he exclaimed. A mathematical code. It's a test. They're not just here to conquer. They're evaluating us. Sarah's mind raced, processing this new information. She looked at the aliens, understanding dawning in her enhanced brain. You're not here to destroy us, she said slowly. You're here to see if we're ready. The aliens' eyes widened in surprise. One of them stepped forward. You have passed the first test, it thought spoke. You have shown the ability to decipher our language and understand our true purpose. But there are more trials to come. Around the world, similar scenes played out. The sleepers, with their enhanced abilities, were able to interact with the aliens in ways normal humans couldn't. They demonstrated humanity's potential, showing that Earth was more than just a primitive planet. As the day wore on, the sleepers faced challenge after challenge. They solved complex puzzles, demonstrated feats of strength and agility, and showed their capacity for diplomacy and understanding. With each success, the aliens seemed to grow more intrigued. The threat of extinction began to fade, replaced by a sense of cautious hope. As night fell, Sarah received reports from her teams around the world. Every sleeper had held their ground, impressing the aliens with their abilities and quick thinking. We've bought ourselves some time, Sarah told Jack over the communicator. But this is just the beginning. The real test is still to come. The sleepers had risen to the challenge, showing the Galactic Council that humanity was full of surprises. But as the aliens retreated to their ships to deliberate, one question remained. Would it be enough to save Earth? The fate of humanity still hung in the balance, but for the first time since the aliens arrived, there was a glimmer of hope. The sleepers had given Earth a fighting chance. The next morning, Earth awoke to a tense silence. The alien ships hovered silently in the sky, giving no hint of their intentions. In military bases around the world, leaders waited anxiously for news from the sleepers. Sarah Connor stood on the roof of the United Nations building, her enhanced eyes fixed on the massive ship above New York. Suddenly, her communicator buzzed. "Sarah, it's Theo," came the urgent voice. "I've intercepted a transmission from the alien ship. They're planning something big." Sarah's mind raced. "What kind of something?" "I'm not sure," Theo replied, "but it doesn't look good. They're charging up some kind of energy weapon." Sarah's decision was instant. "All sleepers, this is a code red." She commanded into her communicator. "Prepare for immediate action. Humanity strikes back now." Around the world, the sleepers sprang into action. In China, Marcus led his team towards the alien ship hovering over Beijing. "Remember your training," he told them as they ran at superhuman speed. "We're stronger than we look." In Egypt, Zara and her team were already scaling the side of the alien ship, their enhanced muscles allowing them to climb the smooth surface with ease. "Look for weak points," Zara instructed. "We need to find a way inside." Back in New York, Sarah took a deep breath. Then, with a powerful leap, she jumped from the UN building towards the alien ship. Her enhanced body soared through the air, covering an impossible distance. As she landed on the ship's surface, alarms began to blare. The ship's exterior shimmered, and alien defenders appeared, wielding strange weapons. "Bring it on," Sarah muttered, her fists clenching. What followed was a battle unlike anything Earth had ever seen. The sleepers, with their enhanced strength and speed, fought against the alien defenders. They dodged energy blasts, leaped over obstacles, and struck with incredible force. In Washington, D.C., Jack watched the battles unfold on multiple screens. He turned to the president, his face grim. "It's time," he said. "We need to launch our counterattack now, while the sleepers have them distracted." The president nodded, her face set with determination. She picked up a secure phone and gave the order. All around the world, military forces sprang into action. Fighter jets took to the skies, submarines surfaced to launch missiles, and ground troops moved into position. The element of surprise was on humanity's side. The aliens, focused on the immediate threat of the sleepers, were caught off guard by the coordinated global attack. On the alien ship over New York, Sarah fought her way towards what looked like a control center. Her enhanced senses picked up the hum of energy building up. "This must be the weapon Theo detected," she thought. With a powerful kick, she broke through the final barrier. Inside, she found herself face to face with the alien leader. "Enough," Sarah shouted. "This ends now." The alien's large eyes blinked in surprise. It hadn't expected a human to make it this far. "You don't understand," the alien thought spoke. "We're not trying to destroy you. We're trying to save you from yourselves." Sarah paused, her fist still raised. "What do you mean?" "Your potential is great," the alien explained, "but so is your capacity for self-destruction. We've seen it happen to other races. We wanted to guide you, to prevent you from making the same mistakes." Sarah lowered her fist slowly. "By threatening to destroy us. That's not guidance. That's tyranny." Around the world, similar scenes played out. The sleepers, having fought their way into the alien ships, found themselves in unexpected dialogues with the alien leaders. As the battles raged on outside, a new understanding began to form inside the ships. The aliens, for all their advanced technology, had underestimated humanity's resilience and determination. In New York, Sarah stood tall, facing the alien leader. "We may make mistakes," she said, "but they'll be our mistakes to make and learn from." We don't need your kind of protection." The alien leader was silent for a long moment. Then, to Sarah's surprise, it nodded. "Perhaps," it thought spoke, "we have something to learn from you as well." As the sun began to set, the tide of battle had turned. Humanity, led by the Sleepers and backed by Earth's military forces, had stood its ground against the Galactic Council. But the fight wasn't over yet. As night fell, both sides prepared for what would be the final confrontation. The fate of Earth would be decided in the next few hours. The Sleepers had given humanity a fighting chance. Now, it was up to all of Earth to seize it. As dawn broke over a battle-worn Earth, both humans and aliens regrouped. The Sleepers, despite their enhanced abilities, were showing signs of fatigue. Sarah Connor stood atop the damaged alien ship in New York, surveying the destruction below. Her communicator crackled to life. It was Theo, his voice urgent. "Sarah, I've decrypted more of their transmissions. The Galactic Council is panicking. They're preparing to use their ultimate weapon." Sarah's enhanced mind raced. "What kind of weapon?" "It's like nothing we've ever seen." Theo replied. "It can reshape reality itself. They're calling it the Cosmic Rewriter." Just then, the sky above began to shimmer and twist. A massive portal opened, and through it came a ship larger than any they'd seen before. It was the Galactic Council's flagship. Around the world, the Sleepers and human forces watched in awe and fear as the flagship positioned itself above the Earth. In Washington, D.C., Jack burst into the president's emergency bunker. "Madam President, we're receiving a transmission from the flagship." The main screen flickered to life, showing the face of the Galactic Council's supreme leader. Its large eyes seemed to hold a mix of fear and determination. "Humans," it thought spoke, its mental voice echoing in minds across the globe. "You have proven to be more resilient than we anticipated. But you leave us no choice. We will use the Cosmic Rewriter to alter your history, to ensure you never develop the potential to threaten galactic peace." The president stood firm. "You have no right to decide our fate." "We have every right," the alien leader responded. "The safety of the galaxy is our responsibility." As they argued, Sarah was already in motion. She turned to Marcus and Zara, who had joined her in New York. "We need to get on that flagship and stop the Cosmic Rewriter. It's our only chance." Marcus nodded grimly. "But how? Our enhanced abilities are impressive, but we can't fly." Sarah's eyes gleamed with determination. "No, but we can hijack one of their smaller ships." In a daring move, Sarah, Marcus, and Zara fought their way into a nearby alien vessel. With Theo guiding them remotely, they managed to start the ship and pilot it towards the flagship. As they approached, the flagship's defenses came to life. Energy beams and strange, reality-warping projectiles filled the air. "Hold on," Sarah yelled as she maneuvered the ship, dodging the attacks with superhuman reflexes. Meanwhile, on Earth, humanity launched its final desperate assault. Fighter jets swarmed the alien ships, while ground forces used captured alien technology to fight back. In his lab, Theo worked frantically, his enhanced mind processing information at incredible speeds. "If I can just understand how the Cosmic Rewriter works," he muttered, "maybe I can find a way to counter it." Aboard the flagship, Sarah, Marcus, and Zara fought their way through waves of alien defenders. Their enhanced strength and speed were pushed to the limit as they battled towards the ship's core. "The Cosmic Rewriter must be in there," Sarah said, pointing to a massive door ahead. As they approached, the door slid open. Inside, they found not a weapon, but a room full of alien children in suspended animation. The Supreme Leader's voice echoed in the room. "This is why we fight. These are the last children of 1,000 dying races. We seek to preserve them, to give them a future. Your potential threatens that future." Sarah, Marcus, and Zara exchanged shocked looks. The motivation of the Galactic Council suddenly became clear. It wasn't just about control, but about desperate preservation. Back on Earth, Theo had a breakthrough. The Cosmic Rewriter, he exclaimed to Jack and the president. It doesn't just change history. It creates alternate realities. How does that help us? Jack asked. Theo's eyes gleamed. Because it means we can use it to create a reality where both humanity and these alien children can thrive. As the flagship prepared to activate the cosmic rewriter, Sarah made a decision. She stepped forward, facing the alien leader. We understand now, she said. But rewriting our history isn't the answer. Let us help you. Together, we can find a solution that preserves both our futures. The alien leader hesitated, its large eyes studying Sarah intently. In that moment of uncertainty, the fate of two civilizations hung in the balance. The next few minutes would determine not just the future of humanity, but the future of the galaxy itself. The final confrontation was about to begin. The silence in the cosmic rewriter chamber was deafening. Sarah Connor stood face to face with the supreme leader of the Galactic Council, the fate of two civilizations hanging in the balance. You say you want to help, the alien leader spoke, its large eyes filled with doubt. But how can we trust you? Your species has a history of violence and destruction. Sarah took a deep breath. We've made mistakes, yes, but we've also shown the capacity to learn, to grow, to be better. Give us a chance to prove ourselves. As they spoke, Theo's voice crackled through Sarah's communicator. Sarah, I figured it out. The cosmic rewriter doesn't have to be used for destruction. We can use it to create a new reality, one where both our species can thrive. The alien leader's eyes widened. Impossible. No species has ever managed to decode the rewriter's full potential. Well, you've never met humans before, Sarah said with a smile. Especially not enhanced ones like us. Meanwhile, on Earth, the battle raged on. Human forces, led by Jack, fought bravely against the alien ships. But both sides were tiring, the conflict taking its toll. In Washington, D.C., the president made a bold decision. She opened a channel to all fighting forces, both human and alien. This is the President of the United States. Her voice rang out. I am calling for an immediate ceasefire. We have a chance for peace, for coexistence. Let's not waste it with more bloodshed. Slowly, the sounds of battle began to die down. Soldiers on both sides lowered their weapons, looking to the sky with hope and uncertainty. Back on the flagship, Sarah, Marcus, and Zara worked with the alien scientists, guided by Theo's brilliant mind back on Earth. They began to reprogram the cosmic rewriter. If this works, Marcus said, his hands flying over the alien console, we'll create a new reality where Earth has the resources to support both our populations. Zara nodded, her enhanced mind processing the complex calculations. And the alien children will have a home, a future. As they worked, the Supreme Leader watched in amazement. Perhaps, it spoke, we judged your species too hastily. Hours passed as they fine-tuned the rewriter. Finally, Sarah looked up, her eyes meeting the alien leaders. It's ready, she said, but you need to be the one to activate it. This has to be a joint decision. The Supreme Leader hesitated for a moment, then nodded. Together, Sarah and the alien pressed their hands to the activation panel. The cosmic rewriter hummed to life. Energy pulsed through the ship, out into space, enveloping the Earth in a soft, glowing light. For a moment, everything seemed to stand still. Then, reality itself began to shift. When the light faded, the world had changed. The Earth now had 2 moons. Its oceans were larger, filled with new islands rich in resources. The alien ships no longer looked menacing, but had transformed into floating cities, integrating seamlessly with Earth's skylines. Sarah blinked, her enhanced mind quickly adapting to the new reality. Around her, humans and aliens alike were looking around in wonder. The Supreme Leader's voice echoed in her mind. You've done it. You've created a world where we can coexist. Down on Earth, people emerged from their homes to find a changed world. But instead of fear, there was a sense of awe and hope. Jack looked up at the sky, now filled with the beautiful lights of alien cities, and smiled. "They did it," he said softly. In the days that followed, humans and aliens began to work together. The sleepers, with their enhanced abilities, acted as bridges between the two species, helping to foster understanding and cooperation. Earth took its place in the galactic community, not as a threat, but as a beacon of hope. The story of how humanity faced extinction and instead created a new future spread across the stars. And in quiet moments, the aliens would share a piece of advice with other races. If you value your peace, don't underestimate the humans, for if you wake them, you better be prepared to run. As the sun set on this new Earth, with its 2 moons and shared cities, Sarah stood on a hilltop, looking out at the changed world. Marcus and Zara joined her. "So," Marcus asked, "what's next?" Sarah smiled, her eyes on the stars above. Now we explore the galaxy. Together." The sleepers had been awakened to save humanity. In doing so, they had not only saved their own species, but had changed the course of galactic history. A new age had dawned, full of challenges, but also full of hope. The human adventure was just beginning.